If you move forward, we're done. We're done playing in the sandbox and going through this song and dance as if everything's hunky-dory. It's not.
Right. Priebus has written to NBC and CNN executives objecting to what he calls a thinly veiled attempt by major networks at putting a thumb on the scales of the 2016 presidential election.
Listen, I'm not going to boycott Diane Lane. It's not her fault that she's decided to take a script. The fact is, what channel am I going to tune into to see the documentary and the miniseries that is all about promoting Hillary Clinton? And at this point, it sounds like it's going to be CNN and NBC. And if that's the case, they're not going to be involved in our debate, period.
Two of NBC's own reporters, including its chief White House correspondent, Chuck Todd, and veteran broadcaster Andrea Mitchell, have also spoken out, suggesting broadcasting the miniseries could damage the reputation of NBC News. But neither CNN nor NBC seems inclined to pull the plug. NBC says the miniseries will air before the heat of the campaign and adds the NBC News unit is completely independent of NBC Entertainment. The CNN project is slated to air in 2014, and in a statement, CNN called the Republican actions premature, saying should they decide not to participate in debates on CNN, we'd find it curious, as limiting their debate participation seems to be the ultimate disservice to voters. Political commentator Ron Bonjean says the Republicans are misguided in targeting the media.
If I were a Republican, I would be focusing on building up their own candidate, making sure their own candidate is someone who's going to connect with people and someone who's going to be on message, someone who could take on Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton still hasn't said she's running, but many political analysts expect she will, and her every move, including a recent lunch with Barack Obama, is already making news. This is Jane Cowan reporting for AM.
It's been more than 6 months since the devastating floods that hit central and southern Queensland. But in some parts of the state, flood victims haven't yet made a start to repair the damage. In Gladstone, people whose businesses were inundated in January say they're competing with resource companies for tradespeople. Community leaders say it's typical of the pressures from the mining boom, and they want state and federal governments to help. William Rollo reports.
That's why the tourists go gaga.
Ross Pearce owns a boat rental business at the Lake Awonga Dam southwest of Gladstone, and he says his jaw still drops recalling January's record flood.
We're 8 metres from there up.
The water rose to almost double the height of the flood in 2010 and 11, destroying his business again.
Last November on, the business was back to itself in and out, working out. We made good money, and then we all stopped from the 26th.
More than 6 months on, the mammoth repair job has barely even started. There's still some mist caked on the exterior of the office.
I'll say a terrific ministry.
And the houseboats are barely recognisable. Gladstone is being transformed into Queensland's coal seam gas export hub. 3 multi-billion-dollar liquefied natural gas plants are under construction at nearby Curtis Island. Ross Pearce says because of that, he's competing with resources companies for tradespeople.
Tradespeople asking for a quote. No one turned up. Yeah, you'd leave a message saying I want a quote. Not even interested. Can't blame them. They're on big money now. On the project, so there's no one in town that's fulfilling the little man's jobs.
Before the gas industry arrived 2 years ago, Gladstone had a population of around 32,000 people. Now there's 9,500 workers on the city's gas projects. Rick Hansen is the president of Gladstone's Chamber of Commerce. He says many businesses are being squeezed out of trade because they can't compete with resource sector wages.
There's been a lot of pressure for a long time for local businesses to compete with the wages that have been offered on the gas projects. So yes, it is tough on those small businesses. If it's local tradesmen you're after, we have got a shortage of that.
We have so many problems in this area that have been created by the industry.
Gladstone's mayor is Gail Sellers.
If we had a company which has a construction workforce of 3,000 people who are conditioned to build 45 homes. So we have 3,000 people coming to live in Gladstone. Let's build 45 homes and that will solve the housing problem in the Gladstone region. Unfortunately, it didn't. We have pressures on our roads. Our social infrastructure needs funding. It's not coming through. We have no idea why.
The Ross Pearce, the personal impact of the flood and the transformation of Gladstone has been keenly felt.
It's not where it's now with my 6,000 bucks. I've had my moments.
Gladstone businessman Ross Pearce. William Rollo, the reporter there. To finance, the Australian dollar is continuing its rebound after signs late last week that China's economy is stabilising. The dollar is buying 91.9 US cents.
Monday here in Australia. I'm Phil Cascaludes. Good to be with you on Radio Australia. We'll be with you on and off across the next 3.5 hours. Hope you can stay with us because we've got plenty of stuff to tell you about. Today's actually a good day for those of you wanting to study in Australia. We're going to tell you how you can make the experience better. The things to look out for. It can be lonely being away from your home and family in a country like Australia. Today, we're going to talk about how to make it less lonely, and there are lots of ways to make being in Australia a great time, not a lonely time. Also sport. Well, today could be D-Day for the Essendon Aussie Rules Club. The club needs to have this doping issue resolved. The lack of certainty is obviously taking a toll on the players. They had a big loss yesterday. And also the rugby league, the cricket, the return to form for Usain Bolt, plenty of stuff, and we're going to talk science with Wendy Zuckerman from Catalyst. Today we look at dolphins' memory. And many of you have seen dolphins, swum with dolphins. Well, they have memories that might even be longer than elephants. Although do elephants have long memories? I don't know. Maybe it's just a wives' tale. Who knows? We'd love to hear from you. +61 427 727272. Our email is onair@radioaustralia.net.au. Well, a little bit later we'll be talking to Seaman Dan, a Torres Strait Islander singer. And today we've got our question. See if you know this. This is about the Torres Strait. Last week, Australian Torres Strait Islanders won the right in the High Court to be able to do something in their territorial waters. What is it that they can do? Mine commercially, fish commercially, or conduct tourist operations. So, Torres Strait, big win, High Court last week. What does this win in the High Court give Torres Strait Islanders? The right to mine commercially, fish commercially, or conduct tourist operations. There are your three options. Again, +61 427 727272. Email onair@radioaustralia.net.au. Now, on the weekend, we had the Australian National Indigenous Music Awards, and here is one of the other winners. We talked about Seaman Dan. Here's one of the other winners, and this was the Artist of the Year, the National Artist of the Year for the National Indigenous Music Awards, Jessica Mauboy.
We can go for miles after midnight, chasing every shadow through the day.